when I talk about ICP and I'm like, they are almost exalted. I talk about ICP as almost an exalted people, or like an exalted state. They're like better than the normal people of society, the average Christian, right? They're doing life better. And I would say I'm not really saying that. I'm saying they are just as good as the average Christian. An average Christian, when you think of yourself, you go to a family gathering, and I'm telling you, you are as good as the ICP juggalos. You are on that same level. Your hypocrisy is rampant. And I'm not saying juggalos are hypocrites. I'm saying they're just as noble and sure and wise and acting in love just as much as the average congregation at church. I think it was so wise. Somebody in General Conference said, love people. Or what was it? You hate other people's sins because they're sinning differently than you. It was something like that. It was like, love people because, yes, it looks like they're sinning horribly, but they're probably just sinning differently than you. You're both carnal in extremely diametrically opposed ways. But their carnality is not any worse than your carnality. You think it's worse because that's something you don't do. Kind of. I get it. In the church, we think the sexual sins are the most high sins of carnality. No, I think we think murder is the worst still. I think both groups think that. I think most groups think that, like, killing someone is the worst. And that's why it's a good threat against everyone who's not doing their thing correctly. Well, then you're just going to have to be gotten rid of. You know, that's the worst one. Like stopping this incarnation, just like pushing somebody off of the jumping off place. That's a big act. Who are you to know anything? Who are you to know how that was spiraling out? You don't know. You're just guessing. You're making decisions for other people. And for the collective group. You're making decisions for all of us, really. You kill that person. That person was integrally connected in the group. And you're making a decision for all of us. You're saying, I'm deciding this person should get out of the group. For us all. I'm one who is qualified to make these kinds of decisions. I'm completely emotionally sound and not given over to tantrums or emotional reactions. Just living off my current emotion, you know. But then there's the cold and calculating ones who are like, yes, I have reasoned it out and this is what should happen. That's more scary, I feel like. But anyway, like, you're making a decision for the collective whole of us, and you really don't know. Like, no human could know all the ramifications of every act. And so we say, and we know that that's normal knowledge to know. It's not a secret. Every act is pretty complicated and pretty heavy, and we can't know all the broad extension of all of our actions, and if that person was truly a net positive or a net negative to the group, we just don't know. I mean, there's some big behaviors we can tell is definitely a net negative for the group or whatever, but like, there's little subtle things people do too. It's on the same spectrum. That's why, well, I think Jesus said, you know, if you're on the anger path, you're on the murder path. Like, if it's the same as murdering your brother, like, it's the same because it's the same for you. It's the same bodily, spiritually, physically, chemically reaction going on in you when you're angry at somebody as when you kill someone. And so it's the same. So you are the same. If you're quick to anger, you're the same kind of person. You're the same, on the same level, the same path, you know, as a murderer. And we consider that to be the most heavy sin of our whole society. I would think if we took a poll of everyone, like, what's the biggest deal? Like, what's the biggest crime against society? What's the biggest sin, the biggest crime? I think people would say murder. Second, then I think religious people would go right into the sex stuff, because on the other side of that's death and birth, right? We're always focused on birth and death and birth and death and birth and death. That's a primary focus of literally every group. Think about it. Reproducing, dating, the songs. Everybody listens to music. It's all about dating and reproducing and then dying. Birth, death, birth, death, birth, death. Birth, reproduce, die. That's your body cycle. Our bodies are designed for that. And Jesus. So then we have the death one. We've got murder as the biggest sin, right? Then we have the birth one, the sin closest next to murder. It's your body cycle, because it's the other side of the coin of the body cycle, right? So that's why they consider those heavy, heavy sins. But on the grand scheme of things, what's actually hurting people in society is other things like that money laundering, or the pesky little problem of you being kind of like judgmental, or to be seen of the world, or to like collect all those luxury items around you so you can like look cool. I feel like those kinds of things are going to affect society really big, but maybe they aren't as big as like birth. Like if you do an act that's going to lead to a birth, but then they're like, it's a slippery slope, just, if you wake up in the middle of the night and you notice it just happened, like, that's fine. You are not held guilty. That's what your body's designed to do. That's perfectly normal and healthy. But if you are to do anything to contribute to that consciously, then you're on the path to death. You're on the path to sin, on the act that's so heavy. It's like that fear, because like, oh, you're angry. You're on the path to murder. Look, guy, look. It's a warning. It doesn't mean you're literally in hell at this moment. You are going there, though. You are walking down that path. You're taking steps. You're side-eyeing me right now as you're slowly creeping down that anger path. Stop. Come back. You're going the wrong way. You're going to end up in hell. Like, please, like, come back. We want you here out of love. You're just trying to trick me onto that path. It's like, literally, no. I literally get no benefit of you coming to the path, like, for myself. I get no carnal benefit from you coming to the path. The only benefit I get, which is significant, but is the sheer joy and happiness of being able to share the path of light and love with another brother or sister. It's all about joy. Yes. But I'm not getting things out of it like you think. I'm not getting anything carnal, like money, any kind of like thing I'm not getting out of you turning from anger. Kinda, I could get treated better if you're in my life, but I could just not have you in my life, and I wouldn't be, generally bringing the whole society down, of course, but like, so yes, things would get physically better for everyone if you stopped that anger cycle. If you worked on it a little bit, maybe. That could be a thing that you do for the group. Maybe people care less about you walking on the grass and more about your ragey outbursts of emotional whatever. I'm just going to get super emotional at the drop of a pin, and that's where I'm going to go in life. It's like, oh my gosh, stop doing that. Like, try not to do that, though. Yes, we all have that. I have as much pain as you have. I have as much rage as you do. This is an Alanis Morissette song. She's like, look, I've got that stuff too. Did you know that? Yes, my body is smaller, but my emotions are the same. Yes, I have an emotion of crying, but you have an emotion of anger. Like, it's different emotions. We're the same. We're both emotional. Just admit it. Can't admit it because emotional people are weak. Yeah, kind of. Like, those emotional outbursts of anger are weakness, but you accept it. So you can move past it, constantly trying to build a wall around it so it doesn't look like an emotional weakness is insane. Like, you're just going to continue with your emotional weakness forever. You have to address it at some point in a real way with people and apologize. Like, the apologies, the feelings of connection, like, accept and admit. That's another Alanis Morissette song. It's called Utopia. It's so good where when you finally do those things, like what kind of society could we live in? And that is a pretty good description. Accept and admit and open and make room, let go and make room for every emotion. Like, it's really good. And the way she says it with like the cadence and things, it's just the whole experience. It's really good. It's called Utopia. But then there's also the other one. I was afraid you'd... Oh, what was it? Sympathetic character in supposed former infatuation junkie. It's so good. So yes, when you look around at your brothers and sisters, you think that you're so much better. You look at ICP and say, look at them. Look at what they're doing. You can't logically think they're Christian, right? You can't logically think that's good. That's insane. It's like, yeah, it is. That's called clowns. They're literally clowns. They're literally the insane clown posse. Like, they're literally the insane clowns. It is insane. It's the insane clowns. Like, you are an insane clown. Like, you are doing that too. Obvious to us, as obvious as the Juggalo makeup, as obvious as circus paint. You are standing out, juggling all your sins, just being blatantly uncaring about those lower than you. Literally the least of these, my brethren. And you go to church on Sunday and literally say those words in church. And then you... I don't know. It's like you just don't care. Not really about the plight. I guess people do, though. There are those who care. I think that obviously there are people in both camps who are not doing it, and there are people in both camps who are doing it. Like, it's the same, though. I think that's something you can draw a parallel to. Like, look at that and be shocked and be like, oh, I'm the exact same. And I think on the other side of that, if you're a juggalo, and you're like, all these rich people trying to keep me down. It's like, no, they're not. They're not, though. Unfortunately, it's your perspective. And a lot of times, your parents do contribute a huge amount to how much you know about things. I mean, obviously, your parents contribute what you know about things. And if you don't know about things like how to live less dopamine centered, if it's just that's all you know, and it's just, it's not terrible, it's not good, it's not bad, it's just it just is what it is. That's just how it is. We can't be blaming like your neighbors for your situation. That's insane too. It's like, we're all in our situations. We can all do a lot of different things in our situations, and we're all responsible for what we're doing in our situation. And we're all very capable. I mean, every literal existing creature is capable and worthy of being here based on the fact that they are here. They're fit. Their bodies are fit. Their consciousnesses, who knows what that's about. But their fit body is fit in this world. And if it's not, it's not. Maybe there's those that we do take care of because we have compassion. We do like to take care of and nurture and help. Like, that's in our nature too, as humans. Everyone says human nature really sucks, but also in human nature is nurturing and caring for and stepping up and doing the right thing